Boys and girls, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't seen the past few videos and you're new to the channel, I'm rebuilding the ugliest Honda Civic in the UK. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, that is not the ugliest Civic in the UK. Let me show you how I bought it. So this car has been already on a pretty mad journey, and it looks like a completely different car, but it's now just a standard Honda Civic Coupe, so it's now time to make it cool. Before we do that, I've got to do something I've been dreading. Today is the day the 5 Series is leaving me, and I'd be lying if I told you all I am not absolutely gutted. You will not find a cooler car for less than 5 grand, in my opinion. You're probably thinking, well, why are you selling it then? I just have no use for it anymore. Having it sitting here is just a waste of time, so I'd rather sell this and put the money into other builds. I know it's the right thing to do, but it is a hard pill to swallow. Because this car has genuinely been my best car to date, and it hurts me to sell it, but I just know it's for the best. It's time to get it ready to be picked up by the new owner. So first things first, let's take the clear lights out. And put the standard lights back in. And the hardest part of it all, taking my number plate off it. And off it goes to its new owner. On to bigger and better things. Just like that, the 5 Series is gone. You guys who are into cars will know that feeling. It sucks. Before I get any further into the video, I just want to say I hope you all had the best Christmas and a happy new year. I obviously haven't uploaded in a little while. I've been pretty busy spending time with the family, and I took a little break out just to recharge. I have got so much planned for 2023. This year is going to be sick, so make sure you hit subscribe to join me on the journey. And also, make sure you're following Eagle. I'll put the Instagram here. There's some big things coming for Eagle this year, so make sure you're supporting my clothing brand as well. We've got some cool things on there, including these key tags, which are pretty sick. Chase your dreams. Because obviously the more support I get off you guys with Eagle and YouTube means the quicker I can build more cool cars. Speaking of cool cars, we're now going to fit coilovers to my brother's S14. Because that is unacceptable. Which he went with a set of HSDs, which are really good quality coilovers, but they came in a BC box, which is pretty confusing. But anyway, let's get the show on the road. I don't think you have to be a mechanic to see what's wrong here. How'd you break that, Matt? So, Matt was rehearsing for the new Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift film and decided to slightly tap a curb. That's right, you could be looking at the next Drift King, if he stops crashing into curbs, that is.
Hello, hello.
He's replacing the broken camber arm with these Driftworks camber arms. They look much stronger. And apparently they also make a good weapon when your son gets a little bit too lippy. But it's time to put the wheel on and see how it sits. Are you ready?
Wow. Wow.
That's the rear done. Time to do the front, because this thing is doing a wheelie. That is not a good start.
Quality tools.
But it's nothing a bit of fire can't help with. So that's the front's done. It needs to come down quite a lot, but it's not going to be properly adjusted until Matt has a set of wheels that he can adjust it to. But I think it's safe to say that that is a mission success. Back to the Civic. But before I do anything, I need to sort my hair out. Here goes nothing. Could you imagine? Much better. And obviously I've done it all by myself, you know what I'm saying? Nafio Barber's coming to a town near you soon. So, something I've been wanting to do with this build from the start, I want to keep track of how much everything's cost. So what I've done is I bought this bad boy. So I'm going to get this put up on the wall here, and I'm going to make a quick list of what I've done so far and how much it's cost me. Before I put it on the wall, I've just got to make one little modification. You're gonna have to excuse my writing, it is horrendous. Even I can't read it. Honda build. The first thing I'm going to put on the list is obviously the respray. Now, as you saw at the start, this car used to be very questionable and I had the whole car painted, so I'll put that on the list. So first things first is paint. So, paint. £2,000. I wish it was 200, but yeah, £2,000. A lot of you are probably wondering, Nathan, how much did you pay for this car? Now, don't worry, I weren't that stupid. The car was quite cheap. So I paid £500 for this car. 500, which, all considering, I don't think was that bad. But I say that, the car had been for sale for a long time before I bought it, so I guess I was the only person stupid enough to buy it. The next thing was the rear bumper. Cost me £100. The next thing were the number plates. I'm going to try and go into the smallest of details so you guys are with me on how much I've spent on this build. So the number plates were 30 quid. Shout out JDM plates. And obviously, if you did see part 1 and 2, the car had no badges. Getting badges were a nightmare. Obviously, Bailey gave me his front grille of his Civic, Bailey, legend. And the rear badge was made by Aaron at Build Custom. So shout out Aaron. And the rear badge cost me a tenner, which, considering they're completely discontinued, Aaron, you're a diamond. So the next thing for the list is the front end. Now obviously when I bought this car, the whole front end was rubbish. So I bought a whole new front end, which cost me 100 quid. Which, oh, problem with being left-handed as well. I'm rubbing the whole thing off as I write. But yeah, front end, 100 quid, which I think is pretty cheap. Like I said, I'm new to all this Honda stuff, but I think that's pretty fair. And that was for everything. Bonnet, bumper, wings, lights, literally everything. But I'm pretty sure that is it for how far we got for the Civic so far. So that so far is 2,500,
1 hour later.
2,740 quid. And that's including buying the car. So I don't think that's bad. Considering a black Civic coupe must be worth about 3 grand in this condition, I guess. Let me know in the comments. This was obviously only to get it to the point it's at now, which is basically, well, it is a standard Honda Civic now, and it's now time to make it cool. Before we can do that, I have to make it road legal. So next up for the Civic is an MOT. And what I'm also going to do is everything I sell of the Civic, I'm going to add, because technically it's a gain, right? So, do you remember the wheels that came on this car? The horrible ear stretcher looking things? I sold those for 300 quid, which, considering the car cost me 500 quid, I think that's a bit of a win. So, plus 300. That list isn't going to stop there. I'm going to have to buy a bigger whiteboard, because I've got a lot of plans to make this car very cool. But, as I said from the start of this build, just trust me and trust the process. I think it's about time that we had a bit of a clear out at the unit. The place is starting to look like a scrapyard. And yeah, it did fall down. I'm gonna have to fit that to the wall properly. We're getting there. You do not realise how much rubbish you have until you start clearing it out. How much better does that look? You know you're getting older when you start to get excited by a clean unit. Ugh. So, before it's MOT, I'm just going to check all the basic things just to stop it from failing on something stupid. So, let's check the lights. That's a good start. Headlights and main beams, and indicators. Let's figure out why that side light isn't working. I mean, it might help if it was plugged in, right? That's better. Right, time to check the rear lights. We've got side lights and hazards, but no brake lights. So, this is a channel for us all to learn stuff. So, for some reason, I've just spent the last 20 minutes, half an hour, wondering why these side lights don't work. Now, it turns out, after doing a bit of research, these are the fog lights and reverser lights. I'm new to all this, yeah? So, we've got side lights, but the brake lights aren't working. Now, at first I thought they might be the wrong bulb. Maybe they have to be like a twin filament bulb. But it wouldn't explain the top brake light not working. So, the only two things I can think of that it could be is if there's a fuse for the brake lights or the brake light switch. So, I'm now going to do some digging.
According to the forums, it's this blue 15 amp fuse for the brake lights.
Let's pull it out and see if my theory's correct. And just like that, if you didn't know, the two metal bits in the middle are meant to be touching, so that is what a blown fuse looks like. So I whacked the new fuse in, which should sort the problem. Fingers crossed, they should now work. Let's go! Which leads us on to my next issue. I noticed when I've been moving this car around, I noticed it has the ABS light on. Now, this is related to the brakes, for those who didn't know, so let's find out what's going on. Which I thought, that's fine. I've owned Volkswagens before. I know all about warning lights. I'll just plug it in, find out what the code is, and hopefully wipe it, and it will never come back again. To read a code on a car, you have to plug this in. Now, this goes into what is called an OBD port. Most cars after 2000 will have OBD2, which is this style of plug. Now, the Civic is OBD1, which is something I have never dealt with before, so time to find out how to read an OBD1 car. Now, they did do this shape of Civic with OBD2, but this particular car hasn't got it. Which, by reading on the forums, the plug for the OBD should be underneath the dash. Now, because this hasn't got it, I don't actually know where to start. Which is where this bad boy comes in. Now, this is an adapter from OBD1 to OBD2. So you plug this end into the car and this end into the reader. Time to plug it in and see if it works. Before I do that, I need to take that pedal cover off. And yes, I tried taking the clutch pedal cover off and that bolt is rounded to anything. So that's a future Nathan problem.
So, after quite a bit of digging and trying to get my fat head into a small space, I found this plug here plugged into this blue plug here. Now, I'm pretty certain that is the plug that I need to put into the adapter to go into my OBD2 reader. So let's give it a try.
I'm going to turn the ignition on. We have life. You won't be able to see the screen too well, but it's now reading for codes. So fingers crossed we can clear the code that's on there and get rid of that ABS light. I tried everything and my code reader just would not connect to the car. I think it's because it's just a cheap code reader. So I messaged a mate of mine called Cass, who's a bit of a Honda guru. He's got a proper code reader, which he plugged in and it told us that it was the front right ABS sensor. I rang around a few places and nowhere had one in stock. And Cass had a parts car outside of his unit, which he took one off. Honestly, Cass, you are a legend. And he also has this stunning K20 swapped Civic Coupe, which I think it would be rude not to go for a spin in. It's people like Cass that make this car stuff so worth it. What an absolute weapon. I cannot wait to make mine quick. Next thing, before the car goes for its MOT, is I'm just going to check all the fluids to make sure none of them are low. Because I'll be honest, I haven't checked any of the fluids since buying the car. Luckily, the engine oil is all good. Not that it matters, because it's a Honda, it can run on literally no oil.
No final gain.
Not that I'd recommend it to anyone. So next up, screen wash, which was completely empty. Coolant seems spot on. And we have plenty of brake fluid, which is always reassuring. The fluid I need more than anything is petrol. Genuinely, this car has been running on fumes for way too long. I should probably paint that really. Or do I keep it as a bit of a memory? What do you all reckon? So everything was going good, putting fuel in the car. Yeah, it was a little bit tight, not much space. Until this happened. Yo! I'm about to get lit, boy! Time to see if the ABS light is gone. Oh. Let's go! Victory. I cannot wait to be ripping this for a neighbourhood near you soon. And also, I found this, which is like a black box tracker, but we ain't gonna be needing no black box where we're going. I think it's time to take the Civic for its MOT. Fingers crossed it passes. It's all dropped off. Please pass. Boys and girls, so I've just picked the Civic up and It's good news, we got a pass, baby. So, we only got 3 advisories as well. So obviously the mirror glass, which is cracked. Don't worry, I'm buying different mirrors. I got a number plate bulb out, which I never realised because I was having so much trouble with the brake lights. And there's also some play in the front tie rod, so I'll get that changed. So it seems a pretty solid car, and it is really starting to grow on me. I'll be honest, I was looking for a hatchback, but when I saw this coupe in the state it was in, I felt like I just had to save it. And seeing it as it is now is pretty rewarding. So luckily, my £500 purchase wasn't all that bad. But I think it's now time to finally make the Civic cool, because I'm fed up of looking at a standard Honda. So I'm going to end the video there. Thank you so much for watching. The next video is going to be the first drive in the Civic. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Hit subscribe. Make sure you turn the little bell button on as well, so you can be notified when I upload more videos on the Civic and any new cars I get. All I'm going to say is if you guys blow these videos up, right, smash the like button, hit subscribe, it's going to be in your best interest. Now just trust me, because my goal is for you guys to take something out of this channel. That's all I'm saying. I'll see you next time. Peace.
With